Okay, this is the last video I'm making at this desk setup, in this basement, in this studio, whatever you want to call it. And I wasn't even going to make this video, but I was just literally undoing the cable management and about to pack up this entire desk setup because I'm moving. And I was like, you know what, let me just make a quick ass video and sort of take a snapshot of my desk setup the way it is, because I don't know if I can recreate this at my new spot. I'm sure I can get close, but it's never quite going to be the exact same. And I just want to sort of run through all the things that I've fallen in love with on this desk setup over the last year and a bit. But yeah, this setup has gone through loads of iterations, and I don't know if I can recreate it entirely at my new place. I probably can, but who knows. What I can say is that at one point I just gave up on having some sort of minimal desk setup and just sort of decided to have everything in this desk setup be about myself, my passions, the things I love. Plus, it's incredibly functional, and it doesn't hurt to have a dope-ass desk setup where I'm going to be working 8 to 15 hours a day. Now, the first thing I got to talk about, honestly, is going to be this monitor that I've been using, which is LG's new 39-inch 5K 2K OLED ultra-wide monitor. And just so you guys know, nothing in this specific video is sponsored, but I'm almost mad. I'm grateful but mad that this video, when I talk about this monitor in the next coming weeks, will be a sponsored video. But I hate when I love something so much and it's a sponsored video, because then I end up feeling like a mega shill, because you can't love something so much and have it be sponsored at the same time. But that's why I wanted to also sort of talk about this monitor real quick, because this is the 39-inch dual mode 5K 2K OLED. It has 165 refresh rate, and it can also do 330 hertz refresh rate with its dual mode, which drops it down to like a wide 1080p resolution, which is awesome because I do both competitive gaming. I can say at this point in time, being close to my mid-30s, I'm absolutely washed up, and I'm constantly getting dunked on by these 10-year-olds in Fortnite, Marvel Rivals, Overwatch, whatever it is. But this thing is practically the near perfect all-in-one monitor for editing, for gaming, for console gaming, for media, whatever the case is. There's only one thing that I don't like about this monitor, and that's that the speakers are just not good. I'm happy they're there, they're just not good, so it's probably my only critique about this monitor. But for an all-in-one monitor, it's practically near perfect. Now, this monitor is typically sitting on or underneath a Grovemade desk shelf, and I'll just tell you guys off the bat, I am a Grovemade fanboy. I have been for like 5 or 6 years. So I typically always have a bunch of Grovemade things in my desk setup. This desk shelf just helps add a little bit of verticality to the setup. I used to be team monitor arm, but now I just use a desk shelf because I can slip a bunch of things into it. I've got these cute little drawers that has way too much stuff in it because, again, I'm kind of packing, so the drawer units I had before were consolidated into these little trays, which has worked really well. And just in a general sense, it helps me organize things. If I have notebooks, notepads, my Mac Studio and my PlayStation have a place to sit, and it just technically gives me more desk space underneath my monitor, which is awesome, having these different levels. And separately from that, I do have this desk mat, which is called the Studio Pad. It's kind of like a metal sheet covered in wool and wood at the same time. And there's a couple cutouts here for any sort of cables if I need to. And usually my mouse and keyboards and trackpads, they will just sit on top of this wool finish, which I absolutely love, because in just about any of my desk setups, I usually have some sort of desk mat. And this is just a desk mat on crack, so I absolutely love it. Separately from that, I do have a vertical laptop stand. So I either like to place my laptop inside this desk shelf, but if not, I will have it sort of vertically, either my MacBook or my Windows laptop that I use for my day job. And again, that sort of just gives you back more desk space instead of having the laptop laid out. It's upright, so it's like 1.5 inches, 2 inches thick of your desk space taken up, and it just looks really flippin' nice. For my device, whatever it is, I'm typically going to have some sort of MagSafe sticker or MagSafe device where I'll just put on that charger, whether it's going to be for either just mounting or charging. But I think this is like an oak or maple Grovemade MagSafe stand, which is pretty sweet. And next to that, I have two things, which is going to be a pencil set and a sort of note holder, because I actually write a lot. I love journaling. I do bullet journaling just to sort of reflect on my day-to-day. I can't bring myself to write long ass pages, so I actually just do bullet journaling. Otherwise, I write a lot for work in YouTube, and I'll typically use this pencil set to do all that writing. And likewise, I like to keep a protractor and a ruler in this note holder just for ease of access, which is always nice. And of course, a notepad also from Grovemade. Any paper really does the job, but again, I am a bit of a Grovemade fanboy, so that does the trick. Now, moving on to some of my favorite audio, I have sort of two main things that I like to use, and they might rotate in and out every now and then. But I did recently get these Daisy Sound headphone ones, or whatever they're called. Daisy ones, I think they are. And I just really love the way these things look. They actually sound incredible. They're built super well. I'm a huge fan of buttons and dials, which has sort of been slowly coming back to a lot of headphones, which is always a nice touch. And just from a design standpoint, these Daisy ones are absolutely gorgeous, and they actually sound pretty damn good. These have some excellent drivers in them, and there's good levels of EQ you can sort of play around with in the application. And for some reason, I don't know what it is, every Bluetooth headset I have, whether it's AirPods or my Nothing headphones, there's always a lag when I'm editing, and for some reason the Daisies don't have that lag. when editing. I don't know why. So whatever you guys at Daisy did for those headphones, I really dig it. When I am gaming, I am using these Sony H92s, which actually have the same drivers as the ever so popular Sony XM6 headphones, and they absolutely sound fantastic. They connect through 2.4 gigahertz while I'm gaming. There's a detachable mic, and they're super lightweight and adjustable. There's really not much to hate about these. They're practically the near perfect headset I found. And like the Daisies, they have active noise cancellation, which is always a plus. And Sony did do a really good job with these headphones. Now, when I am gaming, I got two things that I typically use. There's gonna be my pre-built Alienware RTX PC. And man, I got so lucky when I bought this computer. I think I got it a year or two ago, and it's an RTX 4090 rig. A lot of people have dunked on me over the years for getting it pre-built, but now look at me, son, because the way the RAM apocalypse and components are going, whew, I don't even want to talk about PC building. But I got this entire rig for less than the price of the RTX 4090 alone. So it did end up being a fantastic purchase. And gaming on here, there's been absolutely nothing more I could have wanted. When it comes to gaming, I can run pretty much everything I need, especially with this 5K, 2K OLED. Whenever I'm playing on a 4K display, everything's practically near perfect, and I can pump the graphics. It's just an awesome rig, and it's supported me well through all of my competitive gaming that I've done over the years, despite now being pretty washed up. And lately I've been just playing a lot of slower games just to sort of, you know, relax a little bit more. But as a pre-built, it's just plug and play. I don't got to think about anything. Maybe one day I'll build a PC, but for now this does an incredible job. As for the mouse I'm using this HyperX Pulsefire Haste 2 Core wireless gaming mouse. I'm pretty sure I picked this up because it doesn't look too overly gamer. It was lightweight and affordable, honestly. That's why I picked it up. Otherwise, I have this super competitive Sony mouse that's currently packed away. It's from their Inzone line. I love that mouse, but for now, I'm using this one. At this point, as a senior citizen, I don't think a mouse is gonna change my performance on a game all too much. Now, separately for my PC, when I truly wanna decompress the most, I actually will gravitate towards my PlayStation 5 Pro, in which even though the price has increased on the PlayStation Pro, that Steam machine that just got announced with the pricing makes the PS5 Pro look even better. But I do love it from a console standpoint. Honestly, no, it's not as good as my PC, but again, when I want to chill out, vibe out, just chill with just a controller or something, there's nothing more relaxing than using a controller, leaning back, playing some video games. And the PS5 Pro does an incredible job. If anybody else is super excited for GTA 6, that is going to be a banger of a release. And console gaming is just chill as heck. Moving over to when I do creative work, I have this M3 Ultra Max Studio, which within the same week also just received a ridiculous price increase from Apple. This spec that I have currently would cost an extra 30% today from when I bought it, which is wild to say. But that machine's practically a forever machine, so I bought it at a good time technically. As expensive as it was, this machine has appreciated better than my investments in the actual stock market, which is kind of crazy. That said, it literally just rips every single project I throw at it, and it takes a lot to get dropped frames on here, which is why it's a forever machine. And it's actually insanely compact, which is awesome. It's almost boring to talk about the M3 Ultra Max Studio just because it's literally so powerful. There's like no friction with anything that you might throw at it, honestly. And in my last video, I spoke about the M5 MacBook Air, which I will transfer projects off of this Mac Studio onto that MacBook whenever I am sort of traveling, or if I need that same project on the go. And the M5 Air also absolutely dunks on anything I might need, which is pretty sweet. Also hit with a price increase, but it is what it is. And all of this is sitting on top a Vernal desk, which I think is solid maple. Awesome desk. Somehow they actually price these really well. Don't know how, but it is a sit-stand desk. I could be standing more than I'm sitting nowadays. But what I love about it is actually just how deep it is. It's actually a really deep desk, which I prefer. And it also does have this PC mount, which I really appreciate having. Don't hate me for the cable management. But yeah, as boring as desks are, this is the sit-stand desk from Vernal. I really love it. And similarly boring is this chair that I have from Libernovo. And this is their Maxis Airflow, which is actually a chair meant for gigantic people. Now, while I'm not the tallest guy on this planet, I'm about 6'1.5", I do got some hella dad bod going on. So this is meant for heavy people such as myself. And it's kind of fancy. It does have like a built-in fan. It has this spinal decompression. And because it's just larger, it's straight up comfy. And I love this chair. It's been my main one for about a month now. And Libernovo did a damn good job with that. Now, one of the biggest things in my studio space is I never use a big light. So that sort of carries into my desk setup. I don't really ever turn on my ceiling lights. I just light my setup with lamps or RGB. One of my favorite lamps of all time is this tiny little lamp back here, which is just a little lamp I got off of like Amazon for, I think I got 2 of them for 50 bucks. You can't even buy them anymore, but I love it. I use this BenQ monitor light bar. I think it's called the BenQ Halo. And that sort of lights my desk space, as well as my face when I'm recording my videos, because I don't really use any sort of soft boxes. And then I got 2 Govee things. I have a lamp just over here, which I like to pair with the RGB light strip. I typically like to do complementary colors if anybody's seen the complementary color wheel, just because it makes your desk setup look awesome, and that's about it for lighting. And similarly to the desk shelf, verticality is a big thing that I worked on with getting this desk setup to the space it is. So I do have this floating shelf up above here, which is actually very mounted poorly, well done me, but I typically just keep some of my, tech that's in rotation, some of the boxes up there. I got a microphone up there, which is just this basic Fine microphone. I don't even know what it's called, to be completely honest. And then some greenery, because of course I don't think I can keep a plant alive despite having 2 children, which I've managed to keep alive. But that's one of the best things that I found in my desk setup, is simply to add more personality to the desk space, but also just make it look cooler, is to have some verticality. Start using the walls, and there's a practical use to it, which I really like. On the desk setup though, I usually have 2 cameras, just because I like leaving my cameras on my desk, because I can see it more. I'll get these random bouts of inspiration, and it's like low friction to just jump right in, start messing around with settings, and start shooting something. Sometimes that's all I need to just make something magical. And this is the Fuji X106, which I love. I bought this thing for video, not even photo, and I just leave it on my desk. I'll take a little video of you guys, say what's up to the Fuji, what's going on. And then I'm filming right now on my X-H2S, also from Fuji. For example, this video was very impromptu, and I just picked up my Fuji and started shooting. I wouldn't say there's no friction, but there's less friction, which is always enough for me in most cases. And then lastly, of course, it's just the stuff on the walls. The walls really sort of tied this desk setup for me the most, I think. I already took off my guitar. There was a Tom DeLonge guitar, if anybody's a Blink fan, that I had to dismount. But I've got some artwork on the wall. One of my favorite devices of all time was the iPhone 5, so I have this plaque there, the iPhone 5. Mac Miller is an absolute legend, rest in peace. And then I just have these wall mounts for keyboards, game controllers, headsets, and of course the YouTube plaque, which is a huge achievement over the last year. Thank you guys for always tapping in. And you know what's funny? The biggest thing I get comments on about this channel, I'm talking like the most comments I get, is about this calendar back here, this tearaway calendar on the chilling on the wall. I get dozens of comments almost daily about that thing. So if anybody's wondering, that tearaway calendar is from a company called Bungu, and they typically put their next year's calendars on the market sometime in October or November for the following year. So I guess if I want my 2027 calendar, I'll probably buy it in November. I'll try and link it below because everybody seems to love that and ask me about it. But yeah, that's the desk setup. Quick video. My new space should be able to recreate the same setup, but in case I can't, I just wanted to, again, sort of grab a snapshot of it. This has been my favorite desk. I've fallen in love with it. It gives me the most inspiration. It makes working an absurd amount a pleasure, because it's just in this space that embodies who I am. So I don't know if anybody's gonna take inspiration from this. Verticality, use it, get some art up on the walls, or make a minimal desk setup, whatever the hell it is. I just love that anybody can sort of take a look at this desk setup and get an idea of who I am as a person. And I love that. And I love this desk setup. And we'll see how the new one goes at the new house. But I do appreciate you guys watching till the end. I'll have everything linked down below if you want to check any of this out. Till next time.
Maybe you can't just say it. Let me play the same.